Hey, I'm Rajesh Ajab Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Government College Autonomous, Kalburgi. I'm going to tell you about Enterprises, a spiritual poem by Nissim Ezekiel. Nissim Ezekiel is a 20th century Indian writer writing in English. He is famously known as the father of modern Indian English poetry. All his poems are based on different themes. The poem Enterprises shows his intellectual quest to understand the journey to find God by taking a journey to a pilgrimage. Allegorically, in in theme and epigrammatic in its message. Nissim comes to realize at last that home is where we have to gather grace. So here let's see the poem closely. See, this poem is of 30 lines and in 6 stanzas. Each stanzas carry 5 lines. And when we see the rhymes, rhyme of each stanzas are A, B, A, B, A, and C, D, C, D, C, E, F, E, F, E, G, H, G, H, G, I, J, I, J, I. And when we see the first stanza of the poem, we can divide this in two parts. First part in 2.5 line and the second part in 2.5 line. I'm speaking about the first stanza. Let's see the first 2.5 lines. It started as a pilgrimage, exalting mind and making all the burden light. In these 2.5 lines, what the poet wants to say. Let's see. At the beginning of the poem, Enterprise, the poet the speaker confirms that the journey, the main theme of the poem, started as a pilgrimage. Having said that, it had a noble aim and a lofty goal. All the members of the group were excited at the prospect of going out to a pilgrimage. The thought of the holy expedition evaluated their minds and made all the burdens light. By the very nature of our mind, when people are enthusiastic, the burden seems to be lighter. That is why nothing could pose a challenge before them at that moment. And the second part, that is the other two and a half lines of the stanza, let's see them. The second stage exploded, but did not test the call. The sun beat down to match our rage. So in these 2.5 lines, the poet has divided the journey into stages. The second stage was somewhat different from the first one, since they faced the hostility of the nature on the way. The sun, symbolically of the hostility of nature, was radiant in scorching heat on, on them, as if to match their spirit in intensity. Thus, the second stage gave them some tough moments, but that was not enough to test their keenness. In short, though nature tried to present some obstacle, it hardly succeeded to unnerve them or pose a real threat. One more thing to note here is that for the first time in the poem, the poet or the speaker has used a first person noun R to indicate that he is a part of the group. Let's see the second stanza. We stood it very well, I thought, observed and put down copious notes on things the peasant sold and bought, the way of serpents and of goats. 3 cities where a sage had taught. This is the second stanza of the poem. Here, what the speaker say. The speaker thought that everything went well so far. Especially they could withstand the outrage of the sun. They also kept themselves busy observing and taking lengthy note of various things. The farmers were selling and buying and on their way of snakes and goats. They even observed the three cities where they saw a hermit teach his lesson. In this stanza of the poem Enterprise, the poet has sarcastically described what they were doing during their journey. He actually indicates to how people gets distracted from the main mission. They were wasting their time and energy taking notes on the humdrum aspects of life and on curiosity, which were certainly not their aim. Moreover, their concern was with rather unimportant things. They observed and took note on the cities without concerning themselves with what the sage had taught or what his message was. See this stanza third. But when the difference rose on how to cross a desert patch, we lost a friend whose stylish prose was quite the best of all our batch. A shadow fall on us and grows. So this is the third stanza where the poet says, there came a stage when difference rose in the opinions. Some members did not agree with the others on crossing a patch of desert on the way. As a result, the best prose writer and intellectual person among them parted from the group. So we see that a holy journey for a noble cause no longer holds its integrity. People are becoming egoistic and concentrating on trivial matters. Their main aim, concern now is the way, not the ultimate aim. Even the seemingly intellectual did not bother to reconcile the difference and hold the members together. Ironically, he sought the easier way to part from the group. And let's see the last line of the third stanza. A shadow falls on us and grows. Here, what he wants to say, the poet says, after one friend left the group, a shadow of friction and conflict befall the enterprise and continues to grow. They now lack the zeal with which they started. Now let's see the next stanza. Another phase was reached when we were twice attacked and lost our way. A section claimed its liberty to leave the group. I tried to pee. Our leader said he smelled the sea. This paragraph we can divide into two parts, the first two lines and the second section in next three lines. Let's see uh, the line number 16 and 17. Here, the another phase was reached when we were twice attacked and lost our way. So here the poet wants to say that in the next phase of the journey, some local or external force attacked them on their way. As a result, they lost their way. So it seems that in the quest to save themselves, they did not even bother that they were losing the way. These are symbolic. We human beings often face the opposition of fellow men on our way of life. Sometimes we lose our way by the hostility or misguidance of others. Moreover, when we find ourselves in trouble, we forget the larger perspective and run away to save our narrow interest. So when we see the line 18, 19, 20, uh, first let's read them. A section claimed its liberty to leave the group. I tried to pray. Our leader said he smelled the sea. So here, a section of group wanted to be free themselves and create a new group. Possibly they were unhappy with the leader. So this disagreement continues. In that situation, the narrator had nothing to do but pray. He prayed that God might solve the issue. The group leader was helpless and tried to assure the others, by saying that they were near the sea and so the destination was at hand. Let's go to next stanza. We noticed nothing as we went, a straggling crowd, a little hope. I ignored what the thunder meant, deprived of common needs, like so. Some were broken, some merely bent. Here, what you want to say in line number 21 and 22, here uh, it was a falso from the leader. As they progressed, they could see nothing. They now looked like a group of aimless and hopeless wanderers. But when we see line 23, 24, and 25, they were too tired to understand what thunder meant. They were in such dire condition that they were deprived of common needs like soap. Ignoring the thunder may also mean that they ignored what their inner self suggested. They did not have any idea of what was happening around. Seemingly, they were exhausted and lost their faith by now. The entire enterprise was reduced to a motiveless ritualistic exercise. They were physically drained too. Some members were too not able to walk anymore, and the others just bent down with pain. See the last stanza, line 25, 26 to 30. We reached the place. We hardly know why we were there. The triple had darkened every face. Our deeds were neither great nor rare. Home is where we have to gather grace. So here when we see the lines closely, the first two lines of the last stanza, when finally we reach the place, we hardly know why we were there. So these lines, the poet says, after facing a lot of difficulties, when they reach the destination, they wonder why they had been there. They did not find the journey meaningful at all. So the last three lines, what the poet means here, let's see, let's first read the lines. The trip had darkened every face. Our deeds were neither great nor rare. Home is where we find we have to gather grace. So here the hardship of the journey had darkened everyone's face, but they felt that it was not worth the effort. After reaching there, they found out that there was nothing extraordinary. Moreover, many other groups had reached there earlier. So it was not a rare achievement either. That is why the narrator concluded that they should have stayed at home and tried to gather love and respect of others. Doing good to mankind makes more sense, and it's a better way than going to a pilgrimage to gather God's grace. Here in this poem, the poet has been successful in convincing his message through the narrative poem, but as already told, there is a great deal of investigation on what this home may indicate and gathers grace may mean, and that is the beauty of the poem Enterprise. Thank you for listening and watching this video. You can subscribe my video tube to get further lessons. Thank you.